Hello, welcome to the 77th edition of Drive Thru Review. Today I'm going to talk about Friday. It is a solo deck building game from Friedman Freeze, who did Power Grid and Black Friday and tons of other games. It is a solo game. You're not going to play this with other people. It is a deck building game. It's quite interesting. Basically, the gist of it is that you are stranded on a deserted island, and you've got to fight off a whole gamut of traps and wild animals and things on the island. You've got to go through 3 rounds of play, and then you're going to fight basically 2 pirate ships. And there's a random deck of, 15 or so pirate ships. You're going to draw 2 of them at the beginning of the game. You're going to work your way through the island, hopefully, and then fight off the 2 pirate ships and, escape from the island. So let me show you how this game works and come back and tell you what I think. Okay, here's your basic setup to begin a game of Friday. The first thing you're going to do in the basic game is go ahead and remove this very stupid card. You can see that's very stupid from the aging deck, and I'll explain the aging deck in a minute. But in your basic game, you're going to remove this card. You're going to set aside 20 of these life tokens, and then leave 2 sort of off to the side. Next thing you're going to do is draw 2 of these pirate cards. And these are just random cards that you've got different strength. They got a different number of cards you can use against them. Sometimes they have different abilities, so you're going to randomly draw 2 of these. Let's say I draw these 2, and then set those out. So you're going to know what pirates you're going to see at the end of the game. And then we've got our aging deck, our starting deck, and then the hazard deck here. And you can see they have boards for these. They give you a little bit of indication of how you're supposed to set up. Pretty useful, it's a pretty nice little component there. Let's take a look at the starting deck. And you can see here I've got a variety of cards. And these are very simple cards. They just have a combat strength on them. And you can see there's a lot of zeros in here, and there's even some negative ones. And you've got a 2 and some 1s. So you're going to start with these, you're going to shuffle these up a little bit, and you're going to start the game. And what first thing you're going to do on every turn is you're going to flip up 2 of these hazard cards. And you're going to take and you're going to decide which one you want to combat. Now you can see these are double-sided. So if I win the battle, let's say I chose this hazard card here. If I win the battle, I'm going to take this card and add it to my deck into a discard pile. That's when this becomes the active side of the card. So you can see this is only a 0 attack power here, but it's got a cool little effect that you can use when you play the card. Now, if we look at the hazard that we're going to have to compete against, you can see on the right side here, there's 3 levels of strength. Well, when you start the game, you're going to be fighting everything on the green level of strength. So they've got the indicators here on this board, as well as 3 cards here that you can use to remind yourself. So once you go from green to yellow, you can just flip that up to remind you what level you're at. So you're going to basically go through 3 rounds, green, yellow, and red, and fight through this deck 3 times. Every time you go through this deck and have to reshuffle it, you're going to advance a level. Finally, after the red level, you're going to go fight the pirates. So what are these telling us here? Well, there's a little bit of flavor text here. And basically what you need to look at is this number and then whatever level you're on. So on the first level, we know according to this number we can draw 1 card for free, and we need at least 0 strength. That should be pretty easy, right? So we'll do that, and we get 1 card for free, and there we go, 0 strength. So I beat this card. I can take this card now, add it to my discard pile, and then draw 2 more cards. So I draw 2 cards, and I can see, okay, 1 and 0, 1 and 0. I can take a look at these and say, okay, well, when I play this one, it's going to give me +1 life. And these are your life tokens here, remember. So when I play this card, I can take a life token and add it back into my pile. And this one will let me exchange cards. I'm not going to go into all these effects. But I should say that the errata in the instruction booklet about the different, idiosyncrasies and how the effects are going to play at certain times is really well done and very well thought out. And there's a whole little sort of thought process, a section of the rule book that's really nice. Okay, so that's great. So I'm going to fight these and win some of these, add some of these to my deck, and then my deck's going to get fatter and fatter, right? Well, here's the idea here. So if I flip up 2 of these, like so, you can say, okay, I need to flip up 2 cards and match 1. Or in the case if I was on the red level, I'd have to flip up 2 cards and match 6. So it gets harder and harder. Or in this case, I'd have to flip up 3 cards and match 2. Well, what if I couldn't do that? Well, on your turn, you're going to flip over 1 card. Okay, that's a -1. Now you don't have to keep flipping up free cards. You can flip up 3 for this card for free, but you don't have to flip up any more than the first card. So let's say I wanted to stop here. So I'm actually at -1 and it requires 2. So that means there's a 3-point differential between my strength and the strength of the hazard. So what I need to do, if I were to stop at this point, I'd have to discard that many life points. I could discard 3 life points. So I've got to be a little bit careful about what I'm doing here. So I got to get rid of 3. And so when you discard these life points, there's a real interesting thing that you can do. You can get rid of cards from your deck up to the number of life points that you had to discard from losing the battle. So I get rid of 3 here, and I see that, okay, here's the life points of this card. This is 1 life point. So I could get rid of up to 3 life points worth of cards. I've only got the 1, so I'll get rid of that, and that's now out of my deck. I no longer have this -1 filling up my deck with garbage. So this is a strange little mechanism here for thinning out your deck of garbage and sometimes actively choosing to lose certain battles. If you don't see any cards in here that look that great to you, depending on what level of the game you're at and what time of the game you're at, you may lose on purpose just to get rid of some of these cards. And so that's nice because you can thin your deck down. You get rid of these zeros and these -1s and all that stuff, and so you've got the 1s and the 2s, and then you've also hopefully got some cards added into your deck that have greater strength like 2, 3, and 4 with some extra abilities. But the thing that is going to hold you back from just having the perfectly optimized deck are these aging cards here on the left. So these are all bad. And what's going to happen is every time you go through your whole deck, let's say I went through my whole deck here, and I've got to reshuffle this now. Every time you reshuffle this deck, you've got to take the top aging card and add it to your deck. So you can see this card is pretty bad. It's 0 strength, but every time you play it, it actually reduces your life by 1. That's no good. So you don't want to have too optimized of a deck because every time you go through it, you're going to keep adding aging cards and aging cards. And a lot of these effects are really gnarly too. This is one of the ones I hate the most. So this one says highest card equals 0. So if you've got a 2 out there and it's your highest card, well, it doesn't equal 2, it equals 0 now. So that's a real pain in the butt. Now the other way that these life points are used is, let's say I got a starting deck here, and then let's see, this was the one I needed to fight here. So I can draw 2 free cards. See the 2 there, and then I need to get at least a 1 in this case. So I draw 1, and I draw 2. Well, both of these are 0 attack value. So I really want to beat this. I really want to get this card into my deck. I don't really want to spend tokens just to remove these cards from my deck. So what you can do is you can spend 1 life token to draw a card. And so I can draw a card, oh dang, I need to draw another one. So there's my 1. So you can spend these life tokens then to draw extra cards. So there's a real sort of tension here as these start to dwindle, and you're going to spend these a lot in the early game to get rid of a lot of these -1s and 0s that are pointless. So you're going to have to be able to trust yourself to use these and get your deck to a nice, solid, stable state. So that's basically what you're going to do. You're going to play through your deck. Every time you go through it, you're basically going to age. You're going to add aging cards. You're going to play through this, hopefully pulling in a lot of cards. And these are mostly really effective cards, especially some of these are really nice. Every time you go through this, you're going to progress to another level of difficulty. And then you're going to fight the 2 pirates at the end. And then you're going to add up your score. So you're going to score 15 points for each pirate that you beat. You're going to add up all of the combat bonuses of all your cards. All of these aging cards are actually going to reduce your points by 5. So you really want to get rid of these for that reason as well. And then each of these life tokens also are 2 points apiece. And then any hazard cards that you didn't defeat in the game are going to be -3 points. So you take and add up all your points. The ultimate goal is 80 points on a win, which I have not achieved. My highest is 63. And that's only on easy. So you can play other difficulties where you add in this very stupid card. And this is a -3. So right off the bat, you're going to have the -3. And then I believe that you start off with 18 life tokens in some difficulty levels. I haven't played the harder difficulty levels. I've been having enough fun with the basic for now. Okay, hope you enjoyed that overview. It's a pretty simple, straightforward game. I really like that balance between, okay, I want to fill up, get a optimized deck that's thin, you know, that runs clean, every card is good, but then you're forced to add those aging cards in all the time, so that makes it frustrating in a good way. What are some other things? The pirate ships. So some of the pirate ships have a variety of effects. They're not just straight up, you've got to kill them with this many cards. It's like you've got to kill them and they're worth all the hazard cards that are left that you haven't killed. Or for each aging card you've added, add +2 to this pirate ship. So that can kind of tailor your strategy, so the game will change up a little bit that way. It's relatively thematic. So you're kind of stranded on this island, you're weak, you're dumb, you don't really have any skills, and through sort of the trials and tribulations, you get better. You know, it's sort of a role-playing aspect. You get more experience, you level up, you've got some cool abilities and all this stuff as it gets on, and then you fight these two giant bosses at the end of the game to hopefully escape and get off the island. And there's a lot of little cool things you can do to try to hit those point thresholds, and play at the other difficulty levels to really kind of it adds to the replayability to see how good you can get. And one thing that's neat is I'll probably never use it, but it's neat, is they have the achievements on the back of the instruction book, so you can write down, oh, I got this many points on this date. And I know that they're doing achievements with Power Grid First Spark, so it's kind of a Risk Legacy kind of thing, where you're changing the game and you're marking, that in a personal way, the game becomes more personal for you and customized for you. Now, it's just achievements, I know, but it's just cool. It's interesting that they're kind of pulling this kind of stuff into the game. I will say that it gets more and more fun. So it's real basic. You've got attack card, attack card, attack card, either 1, 2, -1 at the beginning, but then you get those abilities in, and some will give you like free cards. And as you go up to higher levels, it's really hard to get exactly the attack target value. So like on the red level, you need 14 attack power with 5 cards. Well, that's going to be really hard with just 5 cards. But with the extra effects of some of the cards, it'll let you get rid of cards to draw extra free cards and all that stuff. So it's a real cool mechanism of how that works. And your deck gets a lot more fun. You get to do little combos and stuff, which was kind of surprising. I didn't expect there to be, combos at the end of the game. And really, when you fight those pirate ships, you're drawing like your whole deck and everything. It's pretty cool. So anyway, definitely if you're a solo person, like deck building, the game doesn't take that long to play. The rule book's written really well. I think this is just going to be a fun game, and it's at a great price point and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely a high recommendation for me. Thank you.